In this episode, we do a deep dive on not only how to invest in digital assets, but what digital assets can actually do for you in scaling your portfolio. So stick around.
Hey, this is Bridger Pennington, Chris Nog, Sherrod,
Alex Casada,
Jamie Miller,
Matt Porcaro,
Tanisha Spencer,
David Olds, Drew Hitchcock, and you're listening to the Investor Semester Podcast with Jeremy Davis.
Welcome to the Investor Semester Podcast, where the nation's best investors come to level up their game. I'm your host, Jeremy Davis, and whether you're locking up your very first deal or scaling with creative finance, I am here to bring you the conversations, the real strategies, and the exact playbook the top investors are using right now. Most of our listeners are already inside our private community, but if you're not there yet, just go to investorsemester.com to join. Now for the show. Corey Geary is an entrepreneur who turned his life around from addiction to building the true financial and time freedom. Now a millionaire and a father of two living in Puerto Rico, he's proof that entrepreneurship can completely transform your life. So Corey, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm truly blessed and honored to be here with Jeremy. Thank you much.
Awesome, man. I know that I think you and I obviously been in the business for a long time. You've been in the business for a lot longer than I have, but I think you and I met, I think with Boardroom, with Kent Clothier's little mastermind. Is that right?
Yeah, it was one of the first masterminds that I got involved in my real estate journey, and it was great. Met a lot of like-minded people who were trying to get their business structured out in the real estate space. Because one thing about getting your first deal or second deal, but actually creating a business out of it's two different things. And joining masterminds will help you cut the curve or cut in front of the rest when it comes to that. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So Corey, you are someone that I look up to in terms of being like a true entrepreneur. You've actually pivoted, you've followed your passions, you've moved to different countries for better tax savings, all that kind of stuff. And I would love to know more about kind of your background, where you started, where you moved into. And to be very frank, guys, be very transparent, Corey's now really fully all in on the crypto game, right? So like on the digital assets type of thing. And I don't know if it's going to be this episode or not, but we've got Dane Bullwinkle, who's also a partner that also came from wholesaling that I've also interviewed as well. And that's a really, really good episode you guys should listen to as well. It's about like the truth about real estate and where the business is. But for you, bro, you built out an empire from the real estate side of things. And you were one of the top dogs, somebody that I looked up to as being like an incredible mentor, an incredible coach. And you even started what's called the Novation Nation, where other than, I think it was like you and Eric Brewer were the only two guys that were teaching it, but Eric was more of like a micro system, like local to him, but you were the guy that really put it out there nationwide to do novations. And now I feel like every wholesale company uses novations within their quiver. And so, yeah, go back in time. Tell me about like where you started and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I'll go back to when I first got into real estate, man. And I got into real estate because, just like anybody else, I just wanted more money, man. I wanted more money. I was doing okay. I used to work in the casino, man. I was a blackjack dealer. I did that for 13 years. And man, the problem with that was I lived the rock and roll fast lane lifestyle as a dealer. I mean, I was, a stream alcohol.
Where were you located?
Yeah. What's that?
Where were you dealing?
Phoenix, Arizona. Because if you work at the tribal casinos, you keep your own tips. You make a lot more money than working like in Vegas or so. But still, it was insane. And so I was a heavy drinker. I did a lot of drugs. I was single, so I'd living the single lifestyle, and dealing was kind of the thing. Why I got attracted to it was not only the money, because also the lifestyle of being a casino dealer. But I did that for 13 years, man, and I think I did it way too long, although I learned a lot of good lessons, but I was drifting through life. And if you ever read Outwitting the Devil, it's a great book. It talks about drifting, and that's exactly what I was doing in the casino life. And I got into real estate because I literally had bought this house that me and this girl was dating. She was over one night watching the Fix and Flop show with Tarek Musa, and one night she goes, she was also part-time realtor and part-time dealer. So we're watching the Fix and Flop show, and she goes, "Why don't you buy a house so I can list it?" And she's like, because she knew I had some money in the bank. I've been saving some money. I've always been good at saving money. My dad taught me that very young. So I had some money in the bank. She's like, "Why don't you fix a house so I can list it?" And I'm like, why not? It seems easy enough. In 20 minutes, you make $80,000 and you're good to go. I can do that on the side while I'm dealing cards. Well, it's a good thing that I did go down that rabbit hole because, I feel like had I stayed in the same path, not gone down the entrepreneur rabbit hole, I'd probably be dead by now because, man, I was a heavy drinker. I mean, it was bad. And I was going nowhere but to my deathbed, really. And so I bought my first house, and it took me 6 months to fix and flip it, and I made $8,000 on that first deal. It wasn't $80,000, but hey, I made a little bit. And I was like, okay. And at the time, I started going to like local RIAs. I started talking to other real estate investors, other wholesalers. I didn't know what a wholesaler really was at the time. I just wanted to be a fix and flipper, right? Like the guy on TV. And so I ended up buying another deal. I did okay on that one. I made 20 grand on that one. It took about 3 months. And I was like, all right, well, why don't I try scaling this? And this was a big mistake. I bought 4 houses all at once on my third deal. Took my 401k money out from the casino to do it. And I got robbed by the contractor. The contractor pretty much saw a mark on my head, and he think he could probably get one over on me, and he was right. And he would send me pictures of the house that he was potentially supposed to be remodeling, my houses. He was sending me pictures of other houses is what he was doing. And he was very clever about it, when I wanted to go see the property, he'd make excuses, would send pictures. And I was so busy drinking and doing what I do, I didn't really care. And through that mistake, man, I lost $250,000. It set me back, man. I lost all my 401k money. I lost obviously any previous flip money. And then in my savings in my bank account, I was at zero. And I had this big 401k loan now, because that's what I did. I loaned against my 401k to take out, that I lost on these 4 properties. I had to sell them back to the wholesaler who wholesaled them to me. It really sucked to get me out of the hole. And so at that point, it was very dark in my life, and I didn't know what I was going to continue real estate or not. And but I'm a stubborn person. I'm very stubborn, and I knew that the only way I was going to get that money back was if I pushed through and kept doing this real estate thing. I'm like, that's the only way I'm going to recapture some of this, because this guy, maybe I could take him to court and sue him and kind of try to go down this this whole rigmarole that never works out. So I was like, okay. So I kept doing real estate, I heard about this wholesaling thing. That's what pushed me into wholesaling, because I was basically out of money now. And you have to have money to be a fix and flipper, right? Unless you get private money or learn how to do creative deals. But I didn't know about that. And so I was like, what's this wholesaling thing? And that's where I discovered Sean Terry, went down that rabbit hole, and really took to it and started wholesaling. It took me a few months to get my first deal, but once I did, I understood the process of getting a deal, and then I started creating an actual business around it. And we were doing well. We got to a place where we were doing about 10 deals a month in Phoenix, and Phoenix is a very competitive market. All the gurus are out there for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, yeah. But it's we were doing about 10 deals a month, and I was wanting to scale more. And I was like, okay. And I was good friends with Nick Perry. He's a big virtual wholesaler and big into PPC. And so I aligned myself with him, went to his office, learned PPC, learned how he was doing the virtual stuff. And so I turned on virtual in my company. Don't ever do this. If you're listening to this, do not make this mistake. Do not just go turn on a virtual wholesaling business and cut off your local business. Because I did that. I cut off my local marketing and turned on PPC virtual nationwide. And I got leads and I got contracts, but I couldn't sell any of them. I went 3 months running deep in the red. I almost had to close the doors because of this. And I was like, what do I do? I need to do something. And this is funny. This is where Novations came from. I was at another mastermind, and I was watching this guy present about Novations. He was talking about it. He's like, hey, so what I do, my business model is I go and I partner with homeowners, and I put it on the MLS and I sell the property that way to an investor or someone who wants to live in it from the MLS. But I can get conventional financing this way. And a light bulb went on in my head. I'm like, oh my God, if I could figure out how to do that, but nationwide and more of a not partnering with the seller type model, I'm like, that could be the solution to my problem. My problem at the time, I had all these deals on my whiteboard, but none of them were selling because we didn't know how to build a buyer's list. We didn't know the investors in those markets. We didn't know the things.
This was probably before like the major dispo platforms were.
Oh
were
yeah,
created.
way before like Investor Lift and then whoever else is out now. We were big in Investor Lift when they came out. In fact, I ended up investing in the company, but
Oh,
yeah, ended up investing in with Robert.
yeah. Robert's a good friend.
He's a great guy. So that's where the idea of Novations came from, because it fixed a problem that I had created in my business. And I'm like, okay, let me see if I could crack the code on this. So I ended up talking to the guy, learning what he was doing, his model. And I was like, okay, I wonder how I can make this virtual work. And so when I got back to Phoenix, I remember the mastermind was in Florida. I got back to Phoenix. I ended up contacting my attorney there. And this attorney was very good at creative financing deals. He was like the guy in Phoenix who knows how to craft creative financing and the paperwork behind that, right? And if you ever get in trouble from, a creative deal, he's very good at getting you out of trouble. And so like, that was the guy I called. And it was like, hey, so like, this is what I want to do. Do you think you can craft paperwork that would protect me nationwide? And he did. He's like, this is not going to be perfect, obviously, but he goes, this should cover you and XYZ problem lines up or whatever. And so he created the paperwork for me. People are like, they try to give me credit all the time for creating this nationwide paperwork. I didn't create it. My lawyer did. I'm not smart enough to create paperwork that would keep you out of trouble doing these type of deals. Right. He did. And it took us about 3 months before we got our first deal closed on the Novation model. And so it worked. And so and we sucked at it at first. It was really, really rough in the beginning because you got to learn how to work with realtors. You got to learn what the different MLS regulations are in all these different markets. There's a lot that goes into it versus just like wholesaling where you just sell in the paper and, to an investor. There's a lot behind the scenes on the back end, the dispo side, working with the title company and how to explain it to them and how to protect your interests in the deal. There was just a lot of learning lessons along that way, and the paperwork had to be changed a few times. And we had to get creative with it, obviously with my lawyer. And that was how Novation Nation was born, though. And we got to a point where it was the number one way we were doing deals. So we had a model in my company. It was Novation first, wholesale second. I always would try to novate everything because we would make more money that way. We'd be able to help out more sellers, and we could do more deals. That was the biggest thing. I could make a deal out of a deal for Novation that you can't wholesale. And that was really, really cool. And we got to a point where we were doing, anywhere from 20 to 40 deals a month, where like 90%, 95% of them were all Novations. We'd only go to the wholesale route if it was, the house was a complete shithole and it's just, there's no way. Or if the seller was so compressed on time that because Novation, you need time. And then we can go in a little bit of that stuff if you want, but you have to have time on your side, otherwise you can't novate it. And if the seller's in the fire sale and needs the money in 2 weeks, here's our offer then. Here's our cash offer. This is all we could do. But a lot of times, man, we were doing PPC. The great thing about PPC is that you're not targeting only distressed sellers. It's every seller under the sun who's going in and wanting someone to buy their house, where like, say you're doing direct mail or cold calling, you're only calling distressed sellers, people with problems in the property, and those deals can be a little bit complicated, novating. But with PPC, man, you get beautiful houses all the time with sellers going, hey, I want to sell my property. I don't really want to work with a realtor or put it on market. What would you give me as far as cash? And then, we'd explain what we called our concierge service. That was the Novation model. And we talk about we handle everything. And at the end of the day, they just got to show up and collect their check. And if the numbers made sense, boom, we got a deal. And they always made sense because, not always, but like way more than cash offers made sense. And so, man, I built the whole business out of that. And it did really well. And then I even started coaching it. And we created the Novation Nation mastermind, and that was awesome. At my height there, I had about like probably 60 to 70 students in the mastermind, and we even had a course, that we sold as a standalone, and I was probably one of the first guys. Now, I didn't create the Novation model, and nor did I even create the paperwork. I just told you my lawyer did, right, for the virtual, the paperwork that protected us. And it did. It got me in trouble. I got in trouble in Chicago one time, and that paperwork did keep me from getting in deeper trouble. I remember that one deal specifically. But I didn't create it, but I think I was kind of the first one who kind of did this whole virtual wholesale type Novation model, and it worked great. And so I started teaching it, and man, it was, even if I were to start real estate again today, if I were to go back to Arizona and say, you know what, I'm going to spin up a real estate business, Novations would still be the very first tool in my tool belt that I would use to make sure I'm having revenue coming into my company. Because wholesale companies are very transactional. It's a freaking hamster wheel, and so if I'm gonna run on a hamster wheel, I'm gonna put the best damn tool I possibly can. I'm gonna have the best wheel, and that's Novations. It really
we've done that too. I mean, when you look at it, you have these asymmetrical bets, right? And to run a business, if you're going to be looking for cash deals and only cash deals, you're going to be on a roller coaster, right? You're going to have months that are going to be nothing. Then you're going to have a month of $300,000 in revenue.
Yep.
Same thing goes for creative. Creative, you can actually lock up more deals, but then the payouts aren't going to happen right away. It's going to be 6 months to a year later.
Long term.
Right, way long term. And so, Novations are those, consistent, you get the train moving, right? Getting you on the right track.
Keeps
and then the cash deals and creative. Yeah.
Is what you're doing there. And then if you want to splash some creative in there, obviously, and everyone should, if you're really wanting to be a real estate investor and this is what your goal is, and then start keeping some of those deals, get creative on some of those deals, and that's a good way to go about it. But for us, man, Novations was the best model, bar none. And now I see there's a lot of people in the industry doing the Novation Nation model. Like one of my best friends, Nick Perry, who taught me how to do PPC and virtual wholesaling. I taught him Novations, and now he's probably one of the best, in my opinion, virtual Novation guys now. And he even teaches it too, which is cool. And so it was a great model. It still is.
Love it. It's funny. I'm actually in the middle of a lawsuit right now for Novation. I have to sue somebody.
It'll happen.
I lost $50,000 on a deal. I actually came in as a lender on a Novation.
Okay.
And I honestly, this is a very funny story that I truthfully don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, who screwed up the deal. But it was a vacant property. The mother moved out. It was a mother and daughter that were on title. And I got approached by a local investor in the area in Salt Lake. And he's like, hey, man, I need $50,000 for this deal. And I look it over and I look into the property. I actually physically go there and I go, oh, yeah, this is great numbers.
Numbers make sense.
Numbers make more sense than anything you could ever imagine.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. I'm like, here's my money.
Even if we have to drop by $40,000 on the sale, I'm still going to make back my money plus my interest. I was good.
Right.
Okay? So throw the money out there. We got the property. Then things start going weird. And I start looking for updates and I go, what's going on? What's going on? Turns out the dude went to Peru on vacation or something, gets arrested, and now we can't find the guy. Right. And so we can't find the dude. And so now it's a gutted property and he's got my money. But then on top of that, to make matters even worse, the seller, who originally, again, this property was vacant, the seller decides, I'm going to change the locks and I want to keep the property. So she ends up having minor communication with him and saying, I want you to fix my property back to the way it was. Now, this is a fully gutted house now. Okay, it's not going to happen. So now we are in default. So the property is going to foreclosure. I'm in second position. We're trying to deal with
I was going to ask if you are at least in second position on the property. Wow.
It's a fun story. And so we're trying to find the guy that took the money. We haven't been able to serve him yet. It's been months now.
Is he still in Peru, supposedly in prison?
We have no idea. We can't find the dude. He is under the radar. So he's living in a sewer somewhere.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, funny story. So guys, the moral of that story is if you're going to be lending on Novations, make sure that your guy doesn't go to Peru and get arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super fun. All right. Good story. All right. Now I want to kind of pivot into you're doing real estate.
Yep.
What was the catalyst that you needed to say, I'm done? I'm done. Like, did you just have, again, we're going to talk about digital assets here, but did you find a love for that and a passion for that, and you love to teach and you love to coach, or like, where did that go? Tell us about that.
Yeah, the teaching part, I didn't know, it's funny. I didn't know if I'd love it or not, but I did end up really enjoying it when I was doing Novation Nation, because it was awesome, man. When your students are winning because of the strategies that you're teaching them, and they're making a lot of money from those strategies, it feels really awesome as a coach, man. It was amazing, and I didn't know that part would be what would attract me to wanting to coach more, but it did. It's like, I love seeing people win, especially if it helped me win. I can teach it to you. In fact, that's what I tell everybody, man. Well, how am I successful? Well, because I know how to copy and paste. I'll watch somebody else, what they're doing at winning, and I want them to teach me. I'll pay them to teach me, of course, and I'll just copy what they're doing. And then that's why I love masterminds. That's why I always love mentorship. But yeah, so I mean, at first it was really weird because, well, I'll tell you why I switched to digital assets, but the reason why is because I tell people I created what was called a 7-figure prison. I was making a crap ton of money. I was working 12 to 15 hours a day. I was in multiple lawsuits at any given time with buyers and sellers. And I was hiring and firing. I had 17 employees. We were hiring and firing like crazy. And it was like anything but freedom. And what I really got into being an entrepreneur for, I mean, I didn't know at first. I thought it was money, but deep down is because I wanted freedom. I wanted time freedom to be able to do what I want, with whom I want, however I want, when I want. And I did not have any of that, right? Like I was a slave to my business. And in the beginning of 2022, I kind of took a step back, and I was reading the book. This book is, man, it's game changer. I recommend all your listeners to read it. It's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
I'm writing that down.
The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And what the book teaches you, and it teaches you a couple things, but one of the principles that it teaches you how to stop clawing your way in life to success and let God guide you in your life to success. And so I was already dabbling with cryptocurrency at the time, but I was treating it more like a casino, like, put money here or there, because you hear these stories of people making money. And when you're an entrepreneur, you do have shiny object syndrome. You try this, you try that. I mean, I tried e-commerce for a little while. That was a fun venture. Lost a lot of money. A lot of money.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone make money there.
Oh, bro. Yeah. That was, I still to this day, in my garage in Arizona, half of my garage full of just e-commerce crap.
I think the only people that make money in e-commerce are the people that teach how to do e-commerce badly.
Yes. There are guys who are making money doing it. Otherwise, Amazon, like that's like part of the backbone of Amazon. But man, it is crazy. But so I was already dabbling in crypto, and I just felt like there was something more to this asset class. And I thought to myself, okay, instead of putting 10,000 hours into this asset, real estate, what would happen if I put 10,000 hours into this asset? And it takes 10,000 hours is what they say it takes to be a master of any asset or skill set, or, if you want to learn a business, it takes a minute, right? And so 10,000 hours. And I'm like, okay, I knew at the time, and these are true fun facts, cryptocurrency is the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. Had you put $1 into Bitcoin at the inception, and if you were to sell today, you would have over $9 million. It is wild. If you had to put $1,000 into Ethereum shortly after it launched, today it's worth about $14 million. Okay, something crazy like Hex. Hex is a cryptocurrency, came out last cycle. If you'd have put $1,000 into Hex and sold the cycle top, you'd have had $10 million. In fact, there's 30 Hexakins that live in Puerto Rico that all retired because of that. So it's the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. I also knew since 2019 and beyond, cryptocurrencies made more millionaires and billionaires in that short a time frame than any other asset class, including real estate. And so I knew, okay, so I'm in this vehicle, real estate thing. It's making me money. It's slow though. And I feel very passionate about, I am the one in my family chosen by God to break the chains and curse of mediocrity, to break the 9-to-5 scams and 401k scams for my lineage, for my family to come, to really instill legacy wealth. Every wealthy family has that one big risk taker that did that and created that for his family. I feel like I'm the one in mine chosen by God to do this. And I was the first millionaire in my family. And so I was like, okay, this is what I believe. And so my new real estate is just a slow vehicle. I'll get there. I'll get to my goals, but it's after, 10, 20, 30, maybe even 40 years, right? Where crypto, it works in 4-year cycles, and people are getting wealthy beyond imagination over a couple of years. It was wild because the asset class is so new and it's emerging, and there's no regulation around it yet. It's just very new, and that's why it's making a lot of money for people. Now, once it's been around for 30, 40, 50 years, and it's very instilled, ingrained into our economy, then it's gonna be like the stock market. The opportunity will be gone. But right now, the opportunity is there. And so I started really taking it serious in 2022. I joined masterminds. I hired a coach. I started going to events and really trying to learn this crypto thing. And by the end of 2022, my crypto portfolio was making more in passive income than what my real estate company was making net. That's when
Let me ask you a question. You said it's making more in passive, but you're not making money until you sell. So explain that to me real quick.
Yep.
Are you selling off bits and pieces, or is there other ways of making passive income?
I mean, I've sold some this year, yeah. But here's how it works. So the best way to make passive income in crypto is the exact same way that Coinbase, Crypto.com, Kraken, Binance, these are all big centralized exchanges. Most people have heard of Coinbase and Crypto.com here in the US. They're massive, right? How do they make their money? Very easy. They offer up assets to the marketplace, cryptocurrency assets to the marketplace. The marketplace buys and sells through these assets. They make all the fees. In decentralized finance on the blockchain, there is no Coinbase. Coinbase is a business that's a bank that somebody owns. That's not real crypto. But on the blockchain, where do people buy their cryptos at? Well, they buy them on decentralized exchanges where normal people like me and you provide the liquidity. So if I own Hex and Ethereum, for example, I can go to the Uniswap decentralized exchange, put them into a smart contract. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but it's you retain control. The market will buy and sell on Uniswap through the pool that you've added those assets to, and you make all the fees. It's like you creating your own Coinbase or Crypto.com business. You make all the fees. And so those fees now, to your point, are in crypto. Completely up to you if you want to sell the crypto, sell the passive income, put that into real dollars in your bank account, or if you want to compound it, or if you want to just hold it. It's completely up to you, but you're paid daily. These rewards come in every single day as the market is buying and selling through the pool that you're in. It's one of the greatest ways to make passive income in crypto. Most people don't even know it exists. And it's the same thing centralized exchanges do. In fact, Binance, this is a crazy fun statistic, Binance makes $24 billion a year off of that business model. His name is CZ. He's the owner of Binance, worth billions and billions, of course. He just got in trouble with the US too, and he paid them off like $4 billion. It's insane. But that's their business model. That's their model. They're providing the assets to the marketplace. You do the same thing.
Wow. I had no idea that existed. I'm quitting real estate today. No, honestly, that makes a lot more sense. I always thought it was like, okay, you're going to make money by selling your stock, selling your assets, selling your crypto, right? I just thought that was the only way to do it. But no, that makes perfect sense. So what are there other than the passive side of the fees that you can charge, are there any other fun things that you do that are just more than just buying and selling crypto coins? Like,
Absolutely. I mean, it can get pretty in depth, right? Like I'm mining right now. I'm mining a brand new layer 1 blockchain that launched 2 years ago. Newer blockchains, we like those because they tend to do really well. Obviously, you can go buy Bitcoin today, but you're not going to get 100x off of Bitcoin anytime soon. It's very heavy. The market cap is big. Everyone has already bought it, including the United States and other nation states, right? Everybody knows about it. BlackRock is buying it by the billions. They also buy real estate by the billions too. They want to own everything. So Bitcoin, you don't have a lot of opportunity there. But if you buy brand new layer 1 blockchains, there's where the opportunity lies. So I'm mining one of the new layer 1 blockchains. Mining just means your computer gets plugged into the blockchain. All blockchain is a big chain of computers around the world. That's all it is. If you're one of those computers, you get rewarded for it. And so I do that. That's another method. And a lot of it is just holding because you know the market cycles. Crypto works in 4-year cycles. Unlike real estate works about 18.5 years. You have a boom and a bust every 18.5 years. Crypto's every 4. And in the 4th year is where the bull run happens, and that's where people make 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. Hex doing a 10,000x last cycle was during the middle of the bull run, and that's when you get those type of runners, and they're always on newer coins or blockchains. And so, so where we build our portfolio out for twofold. We build up one for the passive income stuff because everyone loves passive income, right? Like, it's great. And then 2, you build out for appreciation too, because you want to get good quality assets. You make sure you got to do your due diligence. We have a buy box for all our cryptos we buy, just like in real estate. We took our real estate skills and we brought them over to crypto. So we have a buy box that we go through to make sure that we're buying what we feel like is a good quality asset with the due diligence we do. And you build for appreciation too. And we're coming in right now towards near the end of the year where we're seeing what we call altcoin season starting to kick off. Altcoin seasons mean when the very most parabolic part of the bull run really starts going crazy and all these other coins start really going nuts. So we're kind of entering that stage right now. And so those are your 2 main things. You can also trade if you want. Like a lot of people will day trade or swing trade. I don't like trading. It's like creating another job for yourself. You got to sit there and watch charts all day. You got to know technical analysis. Now I know TA. I know how to read a chart, but not because I'm trying to trade, because I don't want to sit there for 9-10 hours a day trying to beat the guy on the other side of the screen is basically what you're doing when you're trading. It's a zero-sum game, really, where if you just hold, it's been proven time and time again, the holders who come in and understand the market cycles make the absolute most money. So that's the great thing about crypto is it's very passive. If you're not trading it, very passive. You just live your life, and it's going to do.
All right, Corey, I want you to do me a favor. Ignore my audience, my listeners. They're not here right now. I want you to give me just a really quick 5-minute rundown on understanding different types of coins. Now, I don't really know what Bitcoin is there for versus Ethereum versus Dogecoin. I just know they're all things you could buy, but like, what's the appeal of a certain asset over the other? Like,
great
do they do
question.
things?
And I'm going to give you a little insider, I would say, I guess it is kind of a secret, but like people know this and they just don't want to like admit to it, especially a lot of people in crypto. Man, crypto is just one big, giant, greater fool game. I don't know if you know what that means. Greater fool means somebody has to come in and buy the asset after you at a higher price. Real estate, in a sense, has a greater fool game about it, right? Like you buy a property, you want someone to come in and buy the property more than you, but real estate has a very deep utility about it. People have to have a house to live in, right? Like I'm in a house right now. It kind of sucks to not have a house. So that there's a utility component that's very deep in real estate. Now, people will say Bitcoin. Okay, well, the utility is like digital gold. Okay, it's so we can have digital peer-to-peer money payment systems. Yeah, it doesn't really do that very good. If I send you a Bitcoin right now on the Bitcoin blockchain, it takes about an hour for them to go to me to you. It's just old technology. Bitcoin came out, I think it's 15 years old now. And so it's older tech where you have these newer coins that are a lot faster and they just have a lot more utility about them. So Bitcoin's like a big giant pet rock almost. It's just digital kind of gold. People say like it's just a store of value. That's a new narrative. But really, man, it's just it had the first mover advantage. And I think one day something will be bigger than Bitcoin. There will be another crypto that will come in and overtake it. But right now, it's just we're not seeing that. BlackRock's buying that, Fidelity, JP Morgan. The United States is going to add it to their balance book. It's crazy, right? But the thing really doesn't do much, to be honest with you. It sits there and it just goes up in value. It has a little bit of a use case, but it's not much. Then somebody came out and said, hey, how about we make this crypto, but it can do stuff. Programmable money. That's Ethereum. His name was Vitalik. Vitalik created Ethereum was like 9 years ago. And it had smart contract capabilities. So people could go on and create protocols and the crypto could do something actually. So I'll give you an example. There's a project on Pulse Chain, which we like. It's called Fame. People go in and leverage trade. We don't leverage trade. We're not traders, but other people will. And this protocol makes fees. Well, if you own the Fame token, you can stake it inside the Fame protocol and you get a portion of those fees. It's like dividends. It's like almost like a dividend for owning the piece of the company. That's a good way to explain it. So there's utility stuff like that over on Ethereum and other new layer 1 blockchains. Bitcoin doesn't have that utility. It's just the technology is just too old. It doesn't have that capability. But people love to speculate. So meme coins, that has no use case whatsoever. I'll give Shiba Inu an example. Shiba Inu was just a picture of a dog. That's all it is.
That's Dogecoin, right? Like
that too. Dogecoin too. Dogecoin it was the first meme coin, one of the first ones to be created. And like Shiba Inu was kind of like after Shiba Inu did 1,000,000x. Meaning if you'd have put $1 in the Shiba Inu and you cash out the perfect top, now you don't have to buy the perfect bottom top to make money, but like still 1,000,000x, and it's just a picture of a dog. That's all it is. Because people love to speculate and come in and just buy because they think the number is going to go up. And that's really what meme coins are. They have no utility whatsoever except for number go up. The problem with that was when they crashed really hard too.
Right.
There's a high volatility in all crypto, but when you start going down the risk rabbit hole, the risk threshold there, you can get some really crazy stuff that has really high volatility. So
one thing that's kept me from crypto, I think, is because of that specific reason right there. Like like right now, what's the current, if you could name one thing right now, I'll even do it. The current hot thing in the world right now is those Labubus, right? Have you seen those?
Oh, my wife's got like freaking 4 of them, bro.
Okay. So now, Corey, you and I are old enough to also remember Beanie Babies.
I remember Beanie Babies. They're probably worth money.
I remember my mom and my sister were collecting Beanie Babies, and I remember them telling me with all of their conviction in their heart, Jeremy, this one's going to be worth thousands of dollars. And I sat there and I said, bullshit, it will. It never will. And Beanie Babies went nowhere, right? Like, sure, people have them in their garage sitting in a box somewhere. And that's the new Labubu, right? I think Labubu just hit like an $8 billion something valuation. Like, what is this? It's a stuffed little thing that hangs on a keychain.
That's it.
Okay.
No utility.
Right. So now the same thing goes for crypto, that like, I love the analogy you gave about that Bitcoin is just one giant pet rock.
That's really
because I've literally seen it that way. And I've been trying to understand the logic behind buying Bitcoin other than the speculation of it just going up slowly over time, right? It's just like buying gold, I guess. But no, gold is even tied into a monetary system to where
gold's needed, right?
Right.
Gold, they make watches out of it. It's part of like electronics. It's like gold is a very, people like to wear it too, of course. So this is not really a utility. I mean, it kind of is, right? You wear it.
Sure.
But I can't wear my Bitcoin. I can't wear it. It doesn't do any utility like that. And so it's interesting, man. Now,
do you remember like a history lesson? Do you know my belief is what the earliest bubble that was ever created was. Do you remember what that is? Do you know about that?
It was probably in the stocks if it was
Way earlier. Way earlier.
was it real estate?
Do you remember? Have you ever heard the term called the tulip craze?
I don't no, no, I don't remember that
Okay,
part.
so I'm so trying to remember the country. I want to say Belgium or Netherlands or something
Okay.
like that, but in Europe. Look this up, guys. It was called tulip mania. That's what it was. Tulip mania. That tulip bulbs, right? The bulbs you plant to grow a
Yeah.
flower. Okay.
Yeah.
Tulip bulbs had a monetary value, and people were literally buying, selling, and trading tulip bulbs at the price of a house. And then
Wow.
and then it collapsed and it sent Europe in shambles. It was kind of like the early Great Depression back then, but it was created by tulip mania. And so for me, I don't know what it's been, but like I'm a gambler. I'm a natural gambler. I will
Sure.
always gamble
Human
on myself,
nature.
always bet on myself. But I've avoided crypto for that one reason of that I'd never seen the logic in actually doing it. And so now, like what you're telling me, there's more logic to it than I originally thought. And so
A
you're even
lot of
piquing my
utility
interest.
for it now. There really
Yeah.
is. Whether what will stick and what won't stick, especially when you couple AI now. AI has got, some really crazy stuff going on in with crypto. I think crypto in the future will be the payment system for AI. I really do. I think they're going to couple each other very nicely. And, the government's trying to get their grubby hands into the system. They want to make what's called CBDCs. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It stands for central bank digital currencies. Basically, it'll replace the dollar. The problem with that is the government will be able to control the inflation, which they do that now, right, with the dollar. But like, now they could shut your money off. So maybe you said something bad about the president on social media, so your money gets shut off for a week. That's socialism at its finest, and that's very scary. And you're going to see some stuff like that rolling out in different countries as we're moving along through time here. And the cool thing about DeFi crypto is it's decentralized. No one can come in and touch it. You're the only custodian. You're your own bank. You can take it wherever you want. It's permissionless. You don't need anybody to give you permission to do anything. I'll give you an example. My brother sent me about 20 grand worth of Pulse a few months back because he wanted me to create some miners for him. And I did. And he sent it to me like at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. Right. And so like there was no approval from a middleman bank guy. Like it was over the blockchain. I had it within seconds and it worked great. So there's a utility about that, about having self-sovereignty with your money where someone can come in and regulate you. And so that right there is a good utility for me. And so
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. All right. So, Corey, my last question to you, other than working with you to get started, what would someone else that wants to get started in digital assets, like what would be their first steps in like actually doing it?
Jeez, that's a very good question. I mean, obviously, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the like Bitcoin and Ethereum, to start out, that's a good place to kind of park some money there. If you're not looking for a mentor or someone to guide you, you want to get into stuff that you know is not a scam because there's a lot of BS out there. At least with stuff like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, some of these really big market cap coins, you can buy a little bit, you can get your feet wet, you can get a feel for it while you're starting to do your due diligence. And the due diligence process is going to be a little tough too in the beginning because you just don't know where to look for information. You have to learn that as you're going along. It took me a long time to figure that out. Like it wasn't like overnight, but you got to know which YouTubers you can watch who are actually credible, who won't. A lot of these guys, they get paid in crypto to shill it to you so they can dump it on you. It's crazy. It's a wild, wild west of finance. You got to be careful. So you start in small. Start putting a few $100 in. Start to see what it feels like to be in this magic internet money. Start with stuff that you know for sure is not a scam, and then start researching people, seeing who's credible. You have to get on Twitter. Twitter is like it's like the finance social media. You got to get on there. You got to get to Telegram. Telegram is where I go do all my due diligence on new projects that are launching. I could talk to the founders. I could talk to the devs of the protocols right inside that messaging app. Crypto lives on Telegram, Telegram, Twitter, and Discord. That's where crypto lives. The whole entire thing. It's insane. And then you can get a lot of information from YouTube. Just be careful on who you're watching.
Now that makes more sense. I have my Discord community, the study hall, part of the investor semester, and I see so many crypto servers out there on Discord. But now I've got to start learning about X, and I got to start learning about Telegram. So great. Thank you for that distraction. So awesome. All right. So Corey, how can people get in touch with you, brother?
Yeah, man, social media is the best. So it's Corey Geary on Facebook. It's the Corey Geary, one word, on Instagram. And I think on Twitter, it's Corey_Geary 5555. And so you can follow me anywhere there. You can send me a DM. I'm the one who answers my DM. It's not like a VA or anything. It's me who will answer it. And you can ask me, anything about how you can work with us. We have different ways to come in. It's very cost-effective ways to get your feet wet, just so you can see if it's right for you. And then we also have a full-blown mastermind too. And it's been awesome, man. We have over 300 members in the mastermind, helping people have a little bit of diversification in this asset class and give them the freedom that we've gotten out of it. It's been a true blessing.
Love it, bro. Awesome, man. All right. So Corey, I got a pop quiz question that I ask everybody that's on here. You ready?
Yeah.
What is one common piece of advice that you think new investors should ignore?
Should ignore? Wow, that is a great, I think the biggest narrative, or I would say it's advice a lot of the gurus teach, is like, you have to hustle harder to get to the top. Hustle, hustle, hustle. You got to outwork everybody. I believe there's a time in your journey that you might need to do that, but it's incorrect. There's other ways. There's smarter ways. You have to grow out of that. And so I had to learn the hard way, man. I had to learn the hard way. And then, everyone teaches when you're new, like, man, you got to hustle your way to the top. No, that's a trap.
You're actually right. Like, hustle is a chapter, right? It's a stage, but like once you get past hustle, building out systems, automations, things that are essentially to build a business. The most important thing about building a business is not getting one or two deals. It's making sure those other 10 deals don't fall through the cracks.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And you have to have a systemized approach to the whole entire thing. And if you want to keep that hamster wheel going.
Yep. Love it. Awesome. Corey, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the episode.
Appreciate
Guys,
it, man.
You have been listening to the Investor Semester podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and feel free to share this episode with your friends if you found any value. We'll see you guys on the next episode, but until then, keep grinding, keep making offers, and for God's sake, please call your leads. We'll see you next time.